figure. I'm starving to death right before your eyes.
Well, he should be here any minute. I'll get the salad ready.
Can I help you, Aunt Natalie?
Oh, thank you, darling. Everything's almost ready.
Hi. Hi, Papa.
Oh, hello, honey.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Nat.
Anything wrong?
Oh, no, everything's fine. I just had the worst day of my life.
What happened?
Well, you remember last week when the students rioted up at Hudson College? And they pulled down the statue of the founder and put a pair of panties on him?
I remember. It was a case of spring fever.
Spring fever, my foot. That was juvenile delinquency. Well, I wrote an editorial about it on Monday. Yesterday, some smart aleck sent in a letter to the editor. He signed it Rebel, and among other things, he accused me of having the mentality of a dinosaur.
Martin, you've been a newspaper man all your life. You're not going to let one letter bother you.
I wish it were one letter. Mail has been pouring in all day from the kids, and most of it supports Rebel. We haven't had that much mail on an editorial in years. A little while ago, Smathers called me into his office and asked me what I was going to do about it. I looked like an idiot.
Darling, tomorrow this will be yesterday's newspaper.
Well, I may not last until tomorrow.
Come on into the kitchen. Talk to me while I finish dinner.
I'm not very hungry.
You know something, Cap? I've never seen Papa so upset. You think he's upset? I'm Rebel.
Meet Cathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. But Cathy's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day. Where Cathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette. Our Cathy loves to rock and roll. A hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet. Still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
But how could you do a thing like that, Cathy? You're always old, solid 4 feet on the ground. Patty, I had no idea your father wrote that editorial. It wasn't signed. I didn't agree with what it said, so I wrote to the letters to the editor column. And started a whole international incident. Oh, brother. Patty, what am I going to do? That's a switch. You in trouble and asking me for advice? Will you stop gloating? I can't help it, Cathy. It's very funny. Well, it's not funny to me. If your father finds out that I wrote that letter, he'll be furious. Okay. Okay, Kath, cool it. I'll put the little old gray cells to work. Now, let's analyze the facts. Fact 1, Papa's in hot water at the newspaper office. Fact 2, you put him there. Patty, sorry about that. Look, Cathy, there's really no problem. If Papa finds out you wrote that letter, you're in trouble. But he's never going to find out. Yes, he is. How? I'm going to tell him. You flipped. No, I haven't, Patty. The only way to handle this is to be honest and direct. Do you want my advice? Be sneaky and keep it undercover. Cathy, you heard what Mamo said. By tomorrow, this whole thing will be yesterday's news. If I don't tell him, I'd be dishonest. Oh, if you do tell him, you're a nut. Will you listen to an expert? What makes you an expert? Well, do you know anyone who gets into trouble more often than I do? No. Mr. Editor is at war. If you go down there now, you'll be shot down in flames. I'm sorry, Patty. I have no choice. Sometimes I wonder if she's really related to me.
There. Here's tomorrow's editorial. There has been a great deal of mail in support of the letters signed Rebel. Now, most of the letters generate a lot of heat, but very little light. This writer is not opposed to freedom for teenagers if it is coupled with responsibility. But being a teenager does not automatically confer a license to behave badly. Rebel should pull his head out of the sand and take a good hard look at what's happening around him. Now, Rebel called this writer a dinosaur. Perhaps it's Rebel who is living in the Stone Age. You might call him a Neanderthal ostrich. How do you like it?
That should do it.
What do you think, Cat?
Yes, that should do it all right.
Did you want to see me?
No, it can wait, Uncle Martin. He called me a Neanderthal ostrich. So? You called him a dinosaur. Well, I didn't know who I was calling names. Neither does he. You know, it's wild. You two love each other, and you sling mud at each other like crazy. Here, you've paint on your nose. You know, this would make a great Doris Day Cary Grant picture. Patty. No, really. Cary Grant is the editor of this newspaper, and he's running a campaign against a female politician. And Doris Day is a female politician. Yeah, she's, the mayor of this town she comes from. And Cary doesn't know that. Right. Patty, I am not Doris Day. How am I going to get out of this? Just leave it to your brainy cousin. Oh, come on, Cathy, relax. Let's call the boys and tell them we'll meet them at the shake shop. I wonder how you get in touch with Cary Grant. Oh, hi, Carmine. Yeah, I saw it. Hi, Rich. Hi, Ted.
Hi, Patty. Have you read your father's paper lately?
Richard, it isn't my father's paper. He's just the editor.
Yeah, well, you ought to get rid of that dinosaur who's been writing all those editorials.
Rebel sure told him off.
Your father should put a younger man in there. Someone who understands kids.
Or maybe you should give the job to Rebel.
Wouldn't that be great? We're all sending letters to the editor.
You're what?
How's this for an opening? Dear Fossil, why don't you go back to the La Brea tar pits where they dug you up?
I like mine better. Dear sir, would you please give me your space travel formula? I'd like to visit you in the 18th century. That ought to needle him.
I think you're shooting arrows at a very thin hide.
Oh, listen to this. Dear old-fashioned, I can just see you sitting in your rocking chair with a shawl around your neck, writing editorials with a quill pen.
Oh, look, fellas, do you really think you should send those letters? I mean, why don't you wait and let the whole thing blow over, huh?
Blow over? Listen, we've been attacked. If we don't defend ourselves, who will? Oh, no, I'd like to go out and lynch the guy who wrote that editorial. Oh, no, we're mailing these letters.
What do you have?
2 king-sized aspirin.
Some more mail, Mr. Lane. Where would you like me to put it?
Never mind where I'd like you to put it. Just set it on the desk. Oh, brother.
More fan mail?
Yeah.
That's quite a collection.
17th century Sam.
Old fogey.
Mossback.
Daniel Boone.
Dinosaur. Dinosaur. That seems to be the most popular one.
You know something, Martin? Since this thing started, our circulation is shot up.
So is my blood pressure.
Well, you're not taking this personally, are you?
Well, wouldn't you if you woke up one morning and found you were a symbol of the Stone Age?
Well, the newspaper's supposed to be a forum for the people.
A forum? They've turned it into a battleground. And you know, we're in a trap. The more of these letters that we print, the more we receive. And if we don't print them, they accuse us of censorship.
You know what I think you should do, Martin? Ask Rebel to step forward and identify himself. After all, he's the one who started this whole thing. The two of you should meet face to face, talk over your problems. That way you can reach some sort of an agreement and issue a mutual statement.
You know, I think that's a pretty good idea.
All right, go to it. Oh, I think you're getting a poison pen letter from my son. He's 16.
Dear Rebel, it's time you came forward and identified yourself so that we can meet
Face to face and discuss our differences. Please telephone letters to the editor at the Chronicle or let us know where we can reach you. Sincerely, Dinosaur. Oh, no. Boy, talk about your own backyard. Why don't I join Father in Iceland? Oh, what are you worried about, Kath? You've got me for a cousin. That's what I'm worried about. Well, you're not very grateful. Patty, I really don't have very much to be grateful for. Single-handedly, I'm destroying a whole uncle. I wonder why he wants to meet me. Well, he doesn't want to meet you. He wants to meet Rebel. Well, it's the same thing. There's one thing I'm certain of. I'm not going to answer this. I hope he doesn't put the FBI on your tracks. Poor Uncle Martin. He's got a viper in his bosom. Like Chinese emperor and empress. And then they... Where were you? I was beginning to worry about you. I had a letter to write to Father. What kind of letter? Just a letter. We'll talk about it later. No, I want to discuss it now, Cathy. You didn't write to your father and tell him you were going to join him in Iceland. Yes, Patty, I'm afraid I did. I can't live in your house under false pretenses, Patty. Cathy, what happened wasn't your fault. Things just snowballed into a disaster. Well, you didn't mail the letter, did you? Mm-hmm. Oh.
All right, class. This morning we're going to study the geologic formation of Iceland.
Oh, there you are. No wonder you wanted to run away from home. What are you talking about? Why didn't you discuss it with me before you did it? Before I did what? Cathy, you don't have to play innocent with me. Look, if you didn't want to tell Papa that you were a rebel, I can understand that. But why did you have to slap him in the face? What? Your letter is in this afternoon's edition. Congratulations. Dear Stone Ager, I would be glad to have a face-to-face meeting with you after you publicly apologize for criticizing us teenagers. We get enough of it at home without having old fogies like you on our backs. Signed, Rebel. That's really hitting below the belt. Hitting below the... Patty, you don't think I wrote that? Well, it's signed Rebel. Patty, I've created a Frankenstein. Then if you didn't write that letter, that's the greatest thing that could ever happen to us. What are you talking about? Your trouble's over, that's what I'm talking about. Cathy, all we have to do is track down Rebel and hand him or her over to Papa on a silver platter. There's no way you could find him. Nothing is impossible to a genius. All right, Patty, even if you did find him, I couldn't let you do that. Why not? Because it wouldn't be honest. I sent the first letter. Who'd know? I'd know. Thank you anyway, Patty. All right, I'll do it without her. She'd hate living in Iceland. Hello, Bobby. Hi, this is Patty. Has the Bugle gone to press yet? Oh, good. I have an editorial I want you to run on the first page, and I want a copy of it delivered to every high school in the city. You ready? It reads, Dear Rebel, you're the greatest. We teenagers need a fearless leader.
Aren't you going to play golf today, dear?
No, I'm not in the mood. You know, I finally figured out who Rebel is.
You did? You did?
Yeah. It's some bitter juvenile delinquent who's got a sour grapes attitude toward everything. Probably a high school dropout.
Martin, you haven't touched your breakfast.
No, I'm not really hungry.
Gee, Dad, are you gonna let some stupid kid get your goat?
It's not a question of some stupid kid getting my goat. I offered to meet with him and discuss this problem. Well, now, that was a fair and reasonable request. In return, I got a rude, unreasonable answer. I'd like to get my hands on him.
I have a feeling you're going to.
What makes you think that?
Just one of my wild hunches.
Patty, do you really know anything about this?
Uncle Martin, You mean, do I know who wrote you that letter the other day signed Rebel? No, I have no idea, Papa. But I'm going to try and find out.
Is Mr. Smathers still upset?
Oh, he's delighted. Circulation is zooming. But then he's not the target for tonight. Stone Ager.
It has been difficult for you, hasn't it, Uncle Martin? It's not fair. I think, Uncle Martin, that you should know that
The real rebel is
an idiot who talks too much. I mean, that's why he keeps writing those letters all the time, isn't it?
Why isn't he willing to meet Dad?
Oh, I have a hunch he's going to. Uncle Martin, he's not the one who's responsible. You're absolutely right, Cathy. I think it's the parents who are to blame for that kind of thing. Well, we better go. Cathy's gonna have her head examined.
What?
Cathy's gonna have her hair done. Come on, Cathy. Patty, let's go. Excuse me. You first. Keep fighting, Papa. Everything will be all right. Bye, Mom.
What would you like for dinner tonight, dear?
Saber-toothed tiger?
You better hurry up, Kath. It's almost 8, and the game starts at 8. You know how Ted hates to be kept waiting. I thought you and Richard were going with us. Oh, we'll meet you there. Rich called to say he'd be a little late. Oh, well, why don't we wait until he gets here and we'll all go together? No, that's okay. We'll see you there. But you're awfully anxious to get rid of me. Who, me? I was only trying to see that you'd have a little time alone with Ted. Oh. All right. Have I forgotten anything? No? Good night. See you at the game. Yeah. Save some seats for us. Good night, Aunt Natalie. Good night, Uncle Martin.
Good night, dear. Have a good night, Kath.
Papa! Papa, your troubles are over.
Would you mind putting that in writing?
It is in writing.
What's that?
That's the trap that's going to catch Rebel.
Why, that's your school paper.
Uh-huh. Right there on the front page.
Dear Rebel, you're the greatest. We teenagers need an intelligent, fearless leader like you. We're holding a mass meeting at number 8 Remsen Street. That's this address.
That's right. Tonight at 8 o'clock.
We're having a mass meeting here?
Uh-huh. And you know who the mass is? We 3. When he reads that, he's going to come flying over here, and we've got him cold.
What makes you think he's going to read this?
Oh, he'll read it. I had a copy sent to every high school in the city.
Well, supposing he does read it, why should he come over here?
Because, Papa, he's got an ego a mile high. I analyzed him from the letter he wrote. He's conceited, rude, and cocky. He's a tyrant who's used to walking all over everybody. I figure he's tall, dark, maybe handsome in a Latin sort of way. And he's got dozens of girlfriends, but he doesn't care about any of them.
I don't know about the tall, dark boy with dozens of girlfriends, but you know, Martin, I really think this might work. You see, if he does read this, he just might come over here to take charge. He has no way of knowing it's your address.
Oh, that's true. You might have something here, Patty.
Of course I have. It's called genius. Who else could find one boy in 1,278,000? It's Richard. He's early. We're going to a basketball game, but not until we catch Rebel.
What are you going to say to Rebel when he comes?
Well, it depends on whether or not you're in the room.
Hi, Rich.
Hi, Patty. Sorry I'm late.
You're not late. I told you to be here at 8:30.
I know, but you called a meeting for 8 o'clock.
Meeting?
Yeah. Tell everybody that Rebel is here.
You're Rebel?
Yeah. I thought you knew that when you said, you're the greatest. I knew it was your editorial when I saw the address. Well, let's get the meeting started. I don't want to miss the game.
Rich, don't go in there. I'm having a nightmare.
Hi, Mrs. Lane. Evening, Mr. Lane.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, Richard. You come here to get in on the kill?
The kill?
I think we better be going, Rich.
We can't leave now. Nobody's here yet. We're having a little meeting here tonight.
Oh, that's a coincidence. So are we.
Yeah? Well, I hope your meeting is as exciting as ours.
I'm sure it will be. I'm looking forward to it very much.
So am I.
Rich, you know, if there's anything I hate, it's walking in on the middle of a basketball game. Please, let's go.
I don't understand you, Patty. You write a whole editorial asking me to come here to this meeting, and as soon as I get here, you try and rush me out.
Patty wrote a whole editorial asking you to come to this meeting?
Yeah, my peers are looking for a leader.
And we were expecting a tall, dark Latin. Sit down, Rebel.
Patty told you about that, huh?
Not exactly. We guessed.
I felt funny about it at first. I mean, because it's your newspaper and everything.
Oh, don't give it a thought.
Then I said to myself, I'm really doing Mr. Lane a favor. The guy who wrote those editorials ought to be fired.
You mean the Stone Ager?
Yeah, I'll bet that line really rocked him, huh? Didn't it?
Richard, please.
Don't interrupt your leader, dear.
What's he like? About 75 years old with a white beard and a face like a hatchet.
No, actually, he's reasonably young and reasonably attractive.
He's handsome.
Thank you, Natalie. Stone Ager is also usually a very pleasant fellow. But when he gets angry, he has a terrible temper. And Richard, he's angry.
You're... No offense, Mr. Stone Ager. Mr. Lane. I didn't know it was your editorial. Patty is absolutely right. If there's anything I hate, it's being late for a basketball game. Have a nice meeting. Good night.
Rebel. That face-to-face meeting that you came here for is about to begin.
Patty, what have you done?
How did I know you were going to use the name Rebel?
This is going to hurt you a lot worse than it's going to hurt me, Richard.
Yes, sir.
Cathy, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at the basketball game. Ted told me about the trap you set up to catch Rebel. Did you catch him?
We caught him.
You mean Richard is...
I wish I were in bed with a broken back.
Don't rush things.
Uncle Martin, Cathy, I'm Rebel.
Good grief.
I'm the original Rebel. Uncle Martin, I had no idea you wrote that editorial about juvenile delinquents. I thought what the college kids did with that statue was rather funny. I didn't really see anything malicious in it. I thought they were just letting off a little steam. So I wrote the letter to the editor.
Cathy, why didn't you tell me about this before?
I wouldn't let her. I'm a coward. Uncle Martin, I'm very sorry about this. I had no idea it would cause so much trouble.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have, except all the kids agreed with Cathy.
Richard.
Well, he's right, Patty.
I am?
Almost every letter we got was on Cathy's side.
What does that mean?
It means it's time that the Stone Agers and the teenagers sat down and talked things over.
That's a good idea, Mr. Stone Ager. Mr. Lane.
Oh, just sit down, Richard.
Hi, Cat. Well, everything worked out fine, didn't it? I told you it would have. What's the matter? Papa forgave you, Cathy. And he's even decided to let a high school editor take over the column once a month. You've struck a blow for all of us. You know, one day they may erect a statue of you in the park. Well, I'm afraid I won't be around to see it. Why not? In that letter I wrote to Father, I told him what I had done, and I didn't think I should stay here. Oh, yeah, but that's all changed now. I know, but when he gets the letter, I'm sure he'll want me to leave. And I asked him for a plane ticket. Oh, Cathy, you can't leave. We're the greatest team since Barnum and Bailey. Right, together we can solve the problems of the world. We'll phone them. Do they have phones in Iceland? I don't know.
Hi, I think that's Cathy's.
Thank you. What is it, Patty? Iceland. It's addressed to your father. Cathy? It's been returned. You know what happened? The mathematical genius goofed. Your letter's been returned for insufficient postage. Oh, Patty. Come on. Where are we going? We're going to pick out a site for your statue. Come on.
Here's Cathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins. They walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
If you go to get married, don't hasten it on. And don't you get married till you're full 21. And don't you get married
Patty,
till you're
how long are we gonna stay here?
Shh, you're interrupting Memphis Mulligan.
Then marry some good girl your love won't forget. Come all you young gentlemen who want to be smart.
Mulligan,
Don't play
he's really quite good. Good. He's the heartbeat of America.
Sounds more like the pulse beat of Peoria.
Dancing around you some favors to gain, then turns her back on you in scorn and disdain.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh, I'm going to take a little rest. When you got a throat like this, you got to pamper it a little.
Listen, Memphis, I'm paying you by the night, not by the song. Now get up there and sing.
You can get up there and sing yourself. My throat and I are quitting.
Good riddance. Who needs you?
Good. I'm going back to the farm.
Peasant.
Sir?
What is it?
Gee, that's too bad that had to happen, but, you know, you're right. You really don't need him.
Of course I don't.
I mean, especially when you can get the greatest folk singer in the whole world, Pittsburgh Patty.
Yeah, especially when I can get the greatest folk singer in the world. Who's Pittsburgh Patty?
Me.
Meet Cathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bouquets, different as night and day.
Where Cathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
I miss my home in the old gray west, where I grew up with leeway. They say what happens for the best. My homestead's now a freeway. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hi, Rich. I was just rehearsing.
You're not serious about this.
Why not?
Oh, I'll tell you why not. Because you're not a folk singer, that's why not.
Richard, what is a folk singer? A folk who sings.
Forget it.
Look, Rich, there's nothing to it. I go down there, I sing a few songs, and I become famous overnight. You can be my manager.
What is there to manage?
Oh, just listen to this. And do me a man with a red-headed gal wore a yellow scarf when he called. Married her up and then he learned his red-headed gal was born. What do you think, Mr. Haley?
Crazy. And I really mean crazy.
She's the best folk singer I ever managed. How about it, Mr. Haley? She hired?
I can only pay $15 a week.
$15? I tip my barber more than that.
Richard. He's just kidding. That'll be fine. I'm not doing this for the money.
Patty, will you let me handle this?
No. Mr. Haley, I'm doing this to express myself. I'm going to be the voice of my generation.
I dig. And I can use you, too.
You can?
I mean, if you're going to be around here to manager, I'm sure you wouldn't mind giving me a little hand.
I guess not.
Would you like to hear another song, Mr. Haley?
Sure, sure. Right after you swept the floors, cleaned up the kitchen, and set up the tables.
Oh, my client?
The two of you. And snap it up. We open in a few minutes.
Are you sure this is the way the Beatles started?
Oh, hi, Richard.
Hi, Ross.
Are you looking for Patty or for a sandwich?
Patty.
She's out.
Well, then I'll have a sandwich. You don't know where she is, do you?
I think she went to take a singing lesson.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Is she really gonna be a folk singer?
Sure, I already got her first engagement.
Yeah? Where at?
The Pink Percolator.
She's singing in a coffee pot?
Well, not exactly singing yet. It's a coffee house. When she gets through there, everybody in the country's gonna know her.
Do you sing too?
I'm her manager.
Oh, boy.
Every artist has got to have a manager. Even Patty.
Did you get her a lot of money?
Sure did, considering her talent.
She's working for nothing, huh?
Of course not. What do you think I am?
You sure you've got everything?
Yeah. Thanks.
Boy, I really admire you.
You do?
Yeah. Since I'm her brother, I have to be around Patty all the time. But you deliberately take her out. It takes a lot of courage.
Well, I guess it's kind of hard for brothers and sisters to understand each other. Until they're older, anyway. Well, I wish I had a sister.
You can have mine.
I'll take her.
Can I be best man at your wedding?
I guess so, if we have a wedding.
Aren't you and Patty gonna get married someday?
Well, we were, but I don't know now.
What's the matter?
I'm worried.
I can't blame you. If I was gonna marry someone like Patty, I'd be worried too.
I'm worried she won't marry me.
That's wishful thinking.
You don't understand, Ross. If Patty catches on as a folk singer, she's gonna be famous. And I mean really famous.
Do you think that could happen?
Have you heard any of the folk singers around here today?
Boy, I'm glad I'm just a kid. I wouldn't have the problems that you grown-ups have for anything.
What is life? Is it earnest? Is it real? Or is it a candy Ferris wheel? Ha! If I ate feathers, could I fly? Oh, laugh, you sages. But I must fly.
I don't know if I like managing a folk singer.
Chin up, you're doing great. Oh, Mr. Haley, I'm ready to go on any time now.
You're a real trooper. Make a fresh batch of coffee.
And then?
And then serve the customers.
And then?
And then wash the cups.
And then?
And then make some more coffee.
Yeah, I dig. Oh, the life of a farmer is the life for me. Push-button cows and a new TV.
Hello, Patty.
Hi, Papa.
Hadn't you better get dressed, dear?
I am dressed.
Oh, you're going to a costume party.
In a way, I suppose you're right. Life is nothing but a masquerade. Well, this is the costume of the people. I'm earthy.
I'll say. I would suggest that you wash some of that earth off, then change into a dress, and we'll have dinner.
Papa, you don't know about American folklore, do you? Do you know Carl Sandburg's The People, Yes?
Mm-hmm. Do you know Martin Lane's That Outfit, No? Patty, you look like a poverty-stricken...
Papa, that's the look of my generation. We want to be free.
Then why are you so expensive? Joke. And by the way, there's a very interesting concert at the town hall tonight. Mozart. I got tickets for all of us.
Gee, Papa, I'm sorry, I can't go.
Why not, Patty? I'm sure you'd enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, but I'm kind of going to a concert myself.
Oh? Well, at least it's not bowling or the movies. Who's playing?
A folk singer named Pittsburgh Patty.
Never heard of her.
Oh, you will.
Pittsburgh Patty. No, couldn't be.
What's the matter, Patty?
Oh, it's the older generation.
What have they done now?
They're not going to stop me from expressing myself.
Are they trying to?
They would if I let them.
Have they told you to give up your job at the coffee house?
No.
You see?
That's only because I haven't told them about it yet.
Patty, don't you think you should?
They wouldn't understand, Cathy. It's not just a job. I feel like part of the grassroots of America.
You look like part of the grassroots of America.
It's really very hard work.
The singing?
The scrubbing. Hey, you wouldn't like to join my act, would you? We could make it a duet. I'll scrub, you mop.
No, thank you. I'm afraid not.
Oh, don't be afraid to clutch at fame. It's such a pleasant thing. People come from the ends of the earth just to hear me sing.
Oh, moon is a word, and tin is a word. Empty sounds and din. So I have the power to change my word.
Mr. Haley, I'm ready to go on any time.
Crazy. Start with table 7.
Mr. Haley, I don't think you understand. I'm here to express myself.
I dig. You want to get to the people, right?
Exactly.
Good. Start with table 7.
What'd he say? When did he go on?
Don't look now, Richard, but I think I am on.
Where's our little beatnik this morning?
She overslept. No wonder. She didn't get home last night till 11:15.
What were you doing up until 11:45, young man?
Me and my big mouth.
Morning.
Good morning. How was that concert last night?
What? Oh, the concert. It was great. Too short, though.
What kind of concert was it?
Folk singing.
When I was a boy, we had folk singing. It's odd how it's become popular again.
They had folk singing when you were a boy, Papa?
Yes. We used to put on our bear skins and come out of our caves and sing it up a little. You know, Patty, this may come as a shock to you, but your father is only...
That's okay, Papa. You're young in heart.
Thank you, Patty.
I mean, you really understand kids, Papa.
I tried to.
I mean, like, if I were to say to you, Papa, I think I'm going to get a job in a coffee house as a folk singer, you'd say...
No.
You're kidding.
Try me.
Oh, but Papa...
If you want to do any folk singing, sing for the folks in this house.
Some of them are quite nice, Martin.
Oh, I'm sure they are. And anytime Patty wants to drop in at one and have a cup of coffee, that's fine. But I never want to catch you singing in one of those places.
But, Papa...
The discussion is closed. Would you mind passing the sugar, please?
Cathy said you wanted to see me about some kind of an emergency.
Brace yourself. Disaster has struck.
Well, what happened?
The roof just fell in on us. This morning at breakfast, the father figure conned me into thinking that he was young at heart. So I figured that was the perfect time to tell him about us working at the Pink Percolator.
How'd he take it?
He didn't.
You mean he doesn't want you to work there?
How do you spell ultimatum?
Oh, boy. Well, maybe he'll change his mind.
Never in a million years.
I guess that's that. We're out of the folk song business. Oh, why don't we go see a movie tonight?
I can't.
Well, why not?
Because I'm singing at the Pink Percolator tonight.
You should leave your brain to Harvard. That would teach him.
Okay, Rich, what don't you understand?
You just said you can't possibly...
Rich, I told you I'm gonna quit. But I can't just walk out. That wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, somebody's got to scrub the kitchen.
Look, I told you. Tonight is my last night. I just have to give him at least one night's notice.
got you. Pack them in. What time shall I pick you up?
I'll meet you there. Hey, you wouldn't know anybody who'd like to buy a second-hand guitar, would you? Patty, what if your mother and father find out what you're doing? Well, the worst that can happen is they'll put me up for adoption. Why don't you just tell Mr. Haley the truth? You mean tell him that my father thinks I'm too young to sing in a coffee house? I can't do that. Mr. Haley probably thinks I'm at least 25 or 30 years old. All right. Then tell him your father thinks you're too old to sing in a coffee house. Will you stop worrying? I told you I'm quitting. This is my last night. Don't you want to come and hear me sing? Well, I was going to, but I think I'd better stay here and keep an eye on your parents. That's my buddy. Don't let them budge out of the house. I won't. You know, there's really nothing to worry about. They never go to coffee houses. Yeah. Well, can't keep my public waiting. Bye.
Hey, Natalie, how about this? There's a new coffee house opened in the neighborhood. Listen to the ad. The Pink Percolator. Folk singing and 75 different kinds of coffee. It's enough to keep you awake for 2.5 months.
Can I watch television?
Did you finish your homework?
No, but it's easy.
Then do it.
But then I'll miss this educational program.
What educational program is that?
It's called The Attack of the Hairy Martians.
Well, you mean it's a kind of astronomy lesson?
Yeah.
Do your homework.
Boy, when I'm old, I hope I remember what it was like to be young.
I've been thinking that about my conversation with Hattie this morning. Maybe I was a little too rough on her. I suppose there's nothing wrong with her being a folk singer.
I don't know why, Martin, but I do not want my daughter working in a coffee house. She's barely old enough to drink it.
I'll get it. Hello? Oh, hello, Jonathan. It's Richard's father. No, Richard's not here. Patty? Just a minute. Is Patty here?
I think she went out. Oh, Cathy, where'd Patty go?
I believe she went to a concert.
Oh, Patty went to a concert. To a concert? Well, that's the 3rd time in a row. No, I was talking to Cathy. Yes, we're going to be home for a little while. All right, fine. Yeah, I'll see you then. Jonathan says he wants to come over and talk to us.
What about?
He didn't say, but he sounded pretty upset.
I think I'll go finish a letter to Father.
Cathy, is Patty in any kind of trouble?
I hope not.
Is there anything you'd like to tell me?
I don't think so, Uncle Martin.
If Patty were up to anything, you'd tell us, wouldn't you?
I'm afraid I couldn't, Aunt Natalie.
You couldn't?
No. You see, it's sort of our generation against yours. Excuse me.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Martin. Is Patty home yet?
Yeah, no. Come on in.
I hate to barge in on you like this.
Oh, you're not barging in. We're delighted to see you.
Hello, Natalie.
Hello, Jonathan. Won't you sit down?
Well, I'd rather not.
Something wrong?
Well, I'm not sure. Has Patty been acting peculiar lately?
Well, with Patty, it's kind of hard to tell.
Same with Richard.
I was joking.
I was serious.
What's Richard been doing?
That's just it. We don't know. He gets in late every night. He's completely exhausted all day, and he doesn't tell us where he goes or what he's been doing.
Patty has seemed a bit more tired than usual lately, and she's been getting in rather late.
I knew it. They're up to something. I love Richard being away from home. But my wife worries she's got some kind of a crazy mother complex.
You know how mothers are.
Richard has been talking about working in a coffee house.
Yeah, Patty mentioned taking a job in a coffee house.
What'd you tell her?
Well, I said no. But, you know, as a matter of fact, I was just telling Natalie, maybe I was a little too harsh with her.
I say you can't be too harsh with them. Give them an inch and they'll drive you out of your mind. You know where we make our mistake? Teaching the kids to talk. Just think of how wonderful it would be if they didn't know English. Look at all the money it'd save us on phone calls.
Good evening, Mr. Harrison.
Hello, Cathy. You two girls sure do look alike. I can never tell the difference.
The one with Richard is Patty.
Now, I hope he can tell the difference.
Oh, don't worry. Patty sees to that.
Would you like some coffee?
I'd love a cup.
Hey, wait a minute. Why don't we run on down to that new coffee house, the Pink Percolator, and have some there? They got 75 different kinds of coffee.
That's a good idea.
Oh, I don't think you'd like it.
Well, why not?
Well, I hear it's very crowded and the service is bad and the coffee's not good and it's very expensive.
If business is that good, they must have something. Let's go take a look at it.
It's really very noisy. Why don't I make you some coffee here?
Don't trouble, Kath.
Oh, it's no trouble at all, Aunt Nathalie. I could have it ready in a minute.
You know, I'd like to see that new coffee house.
I make the best coffee in Brooklyn Heights.
Would you like to come with us, dear?
No, thank you, Aunt Nathalie.
Well, don't worry. We'll be
Get on
back
our way.
before very long.
75 different kinds of coffee. Is that hard to believe? 75.
Hello, is this the Pink Percolator? May I please speak to Patty Lane? Patty Lane, she works there. I'm sure she does. Oh, Pittsburgh Patty, I believe she's called. What? Oh, she can't go on. Would you give her a message for me, please?
Some nut. You're on, kid.
I'm sorry, Mr. Haley. I can't go on now. I have to serve table 16 and clean up the kitchen, and then I... Oh, I see. Thank you, Mr. Haley. Excuse me. Rich, I'm on.
Oh, great. Good luck. Now, this is your last chance to express yourself, so pour it on.
Don't worry, I'll be great.
Table for three?
Please.
Crazy. Right over there, folks.
Crazy.
They do a good business here. I suppose the kids come in to hear the folk singing.
I'd like to hear them, too. I've never heard a genuine folk singer.
I imagine they're pretty authentic here.
Hello? I must speak to Pittsburgh Patty. It's urgent.
She's just about to do her number. Call back later.
Good luck, Pittsburgh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pink Percolator takes pleasure in presenting the voice of America, Pittsburgh Patty.
It's Patty. Martin, you can't stop her now.
Yeah, but I told her she absolutely could not do this.
I miss my home in the old gray west, where I grew up with leeway. They say what happens for the best. My homestead's now a freeway. Oop diddle diddle oop diddle diddle oop diddle. Cream and sugar, anybody? Rich and I gave our notice as soon as we got here. I mean, we didn't want to just walk out on Mr. Haley.
Yeah, tonight is going to be Patty's last night.
Papa, I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to disobey you. But I already had the job when you said I couldn't have it.
Patty,
Martin.
I was only going to say, Patty, I liked what you did here.
You mean it?
Well, I certainly do.
You wouldn't want to write a review about her, would you, Mr. Lane?
Richard.
Please don't press your luck.
I thought you were great. You gonna do any more?
Yeah. Let's go, Rich. What do you have, folks? We have 75 different kinds of coffee. Oh, you'd like a menu? Coming right up. Why don't you stick around for the second floor show? Starts soon. Featuring Pittsburgh Patty for the last time. I'll get you a menu.
Take care of table 14, kid.
Crazy. Yes, sir. Excuse me.
That boy has finally found his career.
As an agent?
as a waiter.
Here's Cathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Any smoke signals for me, Kath? Smoke signal? Oh. No, Patty, just this letter from Father. Oh, where is he this week? He's in Rome. He says a friend of his is coming to the States and he's going to look me up. A Mr. Honoré. Crazy. We'll paint the old town red for him. Kathy, think this dress will be okay for Saturday night? Richard lost his head and invited me to the theater. Oh, I think it looks fine. You know, I haven't seen Richard in a whole week. Monday night he broke his date with me because he had a toothache, and Wednesday night he broke his date with me because he had to help his father with something. And there he is. I'll get it. Hi, Rich. We were just talking about you.
Were you?
Uh-huh. Come on in.
Hi, Cathy.
Hello, Richard. Richard, are you gaining weight?
Of course not. Why should I be gaining weight?
He's as thin as a rail. Hey, you want some peanut brittle? We just got it.
No, thanks.
Oh, I know. I'll fix you one of my great bacon and egg sandwiches.
Oh, thanks anyway, but I don't want to spoil my dinner.
Wait. Still have that toothache?
What toothache? Oh, that toothache. No, I feel fine. I came over to tell you I can't take you out Saturday night.
Oh, I thought we had a date to go to the theater.
We did, but my Aunt Mabel came to town for the weekend, and I have to be with her. It's gonna be a terrible drag. She's got the personality of a barracuda. But there's nothing I can do about it. Oh, sorry.
That's okay, Rich. We'll do something next week.
Sure. I knew you'd be a good sport about it. As soon as my Aunt Mary leaves, I'll give you a call.
Richard, I thought you said her name was Mabel.
I did? Oh, I mean, it is Mabel. We call her Mary. It's kind of a nickname. Well, I guess I'll be running along. I'll see you later. Bye, Cathy. So long, Patty.
Bye, Rich. If I didn't know I was irresistible, I'd swear there's another woman. I'm sure there isn't, Patty. Richard adores you. Hello? Oh, hi, Gloria. My black dress? Yeah, I guess you can borrow it. Well, I had a date Saturday night, but it was canceled because of Aunts Mary and Mabel. Oh, you have a heavy date, huh? With who?
Meet Cathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair. But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Cathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll. A hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet. Still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
I never want to see Richard Harrison again as long as I live.
Well, the way things are going, your chances look pretty good.
Patty, are you sure you didn't misunderstand? It's not like Richard to lie.
Believe me, Mama, I caught him red-handed. His Aunt Mabel is Gloria, the original clinging vine.
Did you give Richard a chance to explain?
There's nothing to explain, Papa. He goes out with other girls every once in a while, and I go out with other boys every once in a while. But we never break dates with each other to do it. Patty, I'm sure Richard has a good reason. Cathy, don't try to cheer me up. I like being miserable. Well, I'd like to give him back his pin, his ring, everything he's ever given me.
Why don't you?
He's never given me anything.
Well, what difference does it make? I thought you weren't interested in him anymore.
I'm not. That's Richard. Do I look all right? Oh, I'm a mess.
Well, I think someone should answer the door.
No. Don't anybody let him in.
I'll send him away.
No. I think you should make up your mind. I'll go send him away.
Can I watch?
No. You can all come into the kitchen and help me do the dishes.
Now, how do you ever expect me to learn about life if I can't watch the interesting parts?
Hello, Peter. Oh. Hi, Rich.
Hi, who is Peter?
Oh, just a friend.
I came to explain about Saturday night.
Oh, that's okay, Rich. You don't have to explain. Really, I understand. You have to help your father take care of your Aunt Mary Mabel, who has a toothache.
What are you talking about?
Gloria called and told me she had a date with you Saturday night.
She did. Boy, I sure can't trust women.
Can't trust women.
She shouldn't have done that.
Oh, but it's all right for you to keep breaking dates with me and lie about it.
I'm sorry, Patty, but I can't help it.
Rich, is Gloria so irresistible that you couldn't wait to see her on a night when we didn't have a date?
Gloria? Irresistible?
Well, isn't she?
Patty, I don't even like her.
You don't like her, but you keep breaking dates with me to go out with her.
That's right.
What'd you do, lose an election bet?
Patty, she's not nearly as nice as you. She's not as smart as you. She's not as pretty as you. And she's not as much fun as you.
What has she got?
Something I can't resist. I'm hooked.
On what?
Her cooking.
Her cooking?
Gloria is probably the greatest cook that ever lived.
Richard, you've got to be kidding. Gloria can't even boil water.
Maybe she couldn't last year, but when she went to France with her folks this summer, she went to cooking school at Cordon Bleu. She's been cooking me banquets every night, and I mean banquets.
And that's why you gave up my bacon and egg sandwiches.
And tonight she's making me roast pig maxines with petit pois, glazed peaches, baked Alaska, and I better run along. I don't want to be late. Goodbye, Patty.
Goodbye, Rich.
Did you throw him out?
Is everything all right?
Did you give him a chance to explain? Oh, he explained all right. I have got a rival. His stomach. His stomach? Mama, when did you first learn to cook?
Not until I married your father.
She could prepare any dish 7 different ways. Badly burnt, medium burnt, scorched.
You never complained.
I didn't marry you for your cooking.
But cooking is important to a man, isn't it?
Well, I think every girl should know how to cook.
Will you teach me how, Mama?
Well, of course, darling. You can help prepare dinner tonight.
Great. I'll have him crawling back to me in no time. What are we having for dinner tonight? I'll make Gloria look like nothing.
Hot roast and mashed potatoes.
Patty, are you all right? Oh, sure, I'm fine. It's just that a woman feels like such a fool wasting the best years of her life on a man who doesn't even appreciate her. I'm sure it'll all work out fine. No, it won't. I lost old Glutton Head to the Cordon Bleu. What is the Cordon Bleu, anyway? It's a famous cooking school in Paris. I took a course there once when Father and I lived there. Cathy? Did
Did you say you took a course there? Yes, it's really an excellent school. Did they teach you how to make lobster bisque? And baby veal cutlets with a cream sauce? And a pomme souffle? Mm-hmm. That was our first course. What about baked Alaska? We had that for part of our graduation examination. Cathy, you've just saved my whole romantic life. Because I went to the Cordon Bleu? That's right. You see, the reason Richard is after Gloria is that he's hooked on her cooking. And now I can beat her at her own game. Will you help me? Of course, Patty. I'd love to teach you how to cook. Who said anything about teaching me to cook? Cathy, it took you a year to learn. I've got to have Richard back in the fold by tomorrow night. Tomorrow night? Yeah. Look, I'll invite him over here tomorrow, and I'm going to prepare the greatest dinner this side of Maxime's. Patty, if you're thinking what I think you're thinking... Oh, please, Cathy, I'll never ask you for another favor as long as I live. All you have to do is prepare one of your fabulous dinners. And let you tell Richard that you cooked it. That's right. He'll never look at Gloria again. Patty, I'd like to help you out, really, but, Cathy, if you don't do it, I'll lose him. Believe me, the only way to Richard's heart is through the hole in his head. You do? Well, the kind of dinner I have in mind would be very expensive. I don't care about the expense. This is all-out war.
Hi, Patty. Hi, Cathy. Gentlemen.
Hi, Rich. Hello, Richard. I'll pull up a chair and have a soda.
Well, I'll pull up a chair, but I won't have anything. I never eat in the afternoons anymore.
Oh. Rich, I thought maybe if you were free tomorrow night, you'd like to come over to my house for dinner.
Well, thanks, Patty, but I have promised Gloria...
My mother and father are going out, and I thought maybe I'd cook myself.
I definitely promised Gloria I'd...
Oh, well, it's not going to be anything special. I just thought maybe for an appetizer we'd have fantasy de fruits de mer, and then Canneton bigarade. Yeah, bigarade.
What's that?
It's a tender young duckling with riz sauvage ménagère.
Riz sauvage...
Wild rice. And then I thought we'd have endive braisée flamande, and then maybe for dessert some crepe Suzettes.
You can make crepe Suzette? Gloria can't even do that.
Well, I guess it does take a certain knack.
I know that Cathy is supposed to be a great French cook, but
Well, Patty's cooking tastes a lot like mine. Yeah. Gee, it's too bad about your date with Gloria tomorrow night.
Well, I could tell her that my Uncle Henry came into town.
Why don't you do that?
Crepe Suzette.
Boy, it sure takes a lot of stuff, doesn't it? I used up my allowance for the next 6 months. It's all going to be worth it. Patty, are you certain that you want both baked Alaska and crepe Suzette for dessert? Uh-huh. I figure as long as we're going out for the big fish, we may as well use plenty of bait. I hope you know what you're doing. Hey, you didn't flunk any of those courses, did you? I'll have you know I received the gold star. No kidding. Do you know how lucky I am to have you? The gold star at the Cordon Bleu. That's bleu. What time is Richard coming? I told him to come at 7 o'clock. Oh, then I'd better start the sauces now. That'll only give me about 4 hours. You mean it takes 4 hours to cook one of these dinners? Some of them take 4 days. That's the fish calling up to find out what time the bait is being served. Hello? Oh, no, it isn't. Hold on a minute. Mr. Honore. Oh, that's Father's friend. And thank you, Patty. Hello, Mr. Honore. Yes, Father wrote me you were coming. How is he? Good. He did? Thank you. Oh, yes, I want to talk about him very much. Why don't you invite him for dinner tonight? I don't mind cooking for one more. Monsieur Honore, would you like to join us for dinner tonight? Oh, you are? What time? Oh, I see. It's all right if he's late. I'll let my sauces cook a little longer. Oh, yes, I'm very anxious to get together with you. But I'm afraid I can't right now. You see, I'm doing something for someone. I'll say you are. Oh, yes, I understand. If that's the only time. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thank you. Au revoir. What was all that about? Patty, Monsieur Honoré is catching a plane at 7 o'clock for India. I have to go to the airport to have dinner with him. Cathy, you can't do that. I'm catching Richard at 7 o'clock. I know, Patty. I'm terribly sorry. But this is the only chance I'll have to see him, and Father insisted that I meet him. Yeah, but your father didn't know there was going to be a crisis in my life. Oh, Cathy, if you walk out on me now, I'm ruined. I'm really sorry, Patty. But this is one of Father's closest friends. I have no choice. But what about my Canatum being by you, whatever it is. Please, Cathy. Hello, is this ready frozen food delivery? How long would it take you to deliver a dinner? Oh, that's great. Okay, would you deliver me 2 orders of Fantasy de Fruits de Mer and 2 orders of Canton Bigarade and a large baked Alaska? Hello? Hello? Peasant. Hello? Is this the French omelette? This is the French Gourmet Society. We have chosen your restaurant to prepare us a dinner. We would like a fantastic French dinner. Something that will knock someone's eyes out. What would you suggest? Oui? Oui. Oh, that sounds marvelous. I will send my secretary to pick it up. At what time can it be ready? Thursday? Thanks anyway.
Hi, sis. What's cooking?
Me.
What are you building?
A gallows. I was trying to impress Richard.
Why would you have to impress him? He's lucky to have you.
Thanks, Ross. But he suddenly flipped for French food. And guess who cooks it? Gloria.
Uh-oh.
I guess I'm gonna have to find you another brother-in-law.
Hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea.
Yeah? What's that?
Cathy's a great cook. Why don't you ask her to...
Good thinking. I tried it.
Oh. Okay. All you have to do is call one of those frozen food places that delivers... and...
Tried it.
What about calling a French restaurant and asking them to...
You really are a chip off the old block, aren't you? Hello? Oh, hi, Rich. I was just talking about you. Rich, about dinner tonight. You haven't eaten anything all day because you're looking forward to my Fantasy de Fruits de Mer and my Canton Bigarade and my French test.
Boy, I really underestimated you, Patty. You're full of surprises.
Rich, has it ever occurred to you that there are more important things in life than eating?
Yeah? Name one. Gloria tried to get me to break my date with you tonight. She tried to tempt me with profiteroles. But I told her I was holding out for your crepe Suzettes.
Oh, bully for you.
She claims you can't cook.
Oh, she does she? Oh, what does she know?
Nothing. That's why I'm going to see you at 7 o'clock. And have plenty to eat. I'm bringing my appetite. Bye-bye.
I make great peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, sis.
Thanks, Ross. But to a gourmet, that's nothing.
What's a gourmet?
A glutton with a fancy appetite. You wouldn't have any other ideas, would you?
Yeah. Find me a brother-in-law who likes hamburgers.
That's it.
What'd I say?
The magic word. Look, I may not know how to cook, but I can certainly make hamburgers. I'll just tell Richard I think he's gaining too much weight, and I thought I'd make him a plain old hamburger dinner. At least I'll still be in the ball game. Will you help me clean up this mess?
Sure.
Oh, I'm so happy I was able to see you, Cathy.
So am I, monsieur.
Your father's exact words to me were, I want you to see Cathy in person and tell me exactly what she looks like. If she's too thin or too pale. Well, you know what fathers are like.
Yes.
He tells me that you are flying over there to see him this summer.
As soon as school is out. I'm hoping to take Patty with me.
Oh, your father speaks of Patty a great deal. Apparently, she's what you call a character, happy and carefree.
Well, she used to be.
I don't understand.
Oh, I've gotten Patty into terrible trouble.
What?
She's home now cooking a gourmet dinner for her boyfriend, Richard.
Patty is a gourmet cook?
No, Patty isn't any kind of a cook.
And yet she's cooking a gourmet dinner for this Richard?
Not exactly. You see, I was supposed to cook it.
Oh, and she was going to impress him by saying she cooked it.
Yes.
Well, as a Frenchman, I would feel a deep responsibility if in any way I hurt a romance.
It isn't your fault, monsieur.
Yes, in a way it is. I think I owe Patty and her friend a dinner, but we must be very resourceful. What was she going to serve?
Oh, there it is. Ross, will you keep an eye on the hamburgers for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Boy, I wouldn't be a woman for anything.
Hi, Patty.
Hi, Rich.
Something sure smells good. What is it, Canton Bigarade? Huh?
Well...
It even smells better from here.
I'm glad you feel that way about it, Rich, because the truth of the matter is...
Sure had me fooled.
I did?
Yeah. I thought the only thing you could cook was those crummy hamburgers of yours.
Those crummy hamburgers of mine?
Yeah, Gloria tried to tell me that's what you're going to feed me tonight. You sure got a laugh on her.
Yeah.
What time are we going to eat?
Would, 12 o'clock be too late?
Can I help you?
I'm sorry to be so late. Everything had to be cooked to order. You know? Fantaisie de fruits de mer, Canton Bigarade, riz sauvage ménagère, and the crêpe Suzette. Monsieur Honoré and the restaurant voisin wish you a very pleasant dinner. Bonsoir, monsieur.
Richard, I have a confession to make.
Couldn't you make it after dinner? I'm getting kind of hungry. I didn't even eat breakfast.
No, Richard, it can't wait till after dinner. You see, what Gloria said about me...
You don't have to worry about Gloria.
Yes, I do, Rich. You see, what she said is absolutely...
Patty, I don't want to rush you, but if you don't sit down to dinner soon, that duck is going to get cold, the baked Alaska is going to melt, and your crepe Suzettes will be ruined.
Oh, boy. What are we waiting for? Oh, let's eat.
Yeah. You know something, Rich?
What?
Somebody up there likes me. Oh, hi, Gloria. Hi, Patty. Gee, it's too bad you couldn't join Rich and me for dinner last night.
Oh, he told me all about it.
Oh, did he? Mm-hmm. It really wasn't much. Next time I should go into something more complicated.
Well, I'd love to be there when you do. I have a feeling you got away with something this time. But what are you going to do for an encore? Well, bye, darling.
Hi, Rich.
Hi, Patty.
Something wrong?
I've got kind of a confession to make.
You have a confession to make?
Yeah, it's about that dinner we had last night.
You mean you didn't like it?
Oh, I loved it. But to tell the truth, I've been eating too much rich food lately. And the whole thing's making me kind of sick.
You mean you don't like rich food anymore?
Oh, don't even mention it.
Well, Rich, I guess I'll just have to find somebody else to cook for.
What do you mean?
Well, a great talent like mine can't just go to waste. I'll have to find somebody who appreciates me.
Well, gee, Patty, I appreciate you.
All right, Rich. I'm going to give you a chance to prove it.
Oh, thanks, Patty. Oh, what do you want me to do?
I want you to come to my house tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yeah?
And I'm going to make you some of my crummy hamburgers.
It's a deal.
Here's Cathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike,
they walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind.